What's up, guys? Welcome back to Chiefs Chat. And you know what? I think we are the greatest team in NFL history. We just took a win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling great about our team after this fantastic win. First win of the season for the Chiefs. Definitely not the last, as we will continue to build on this momentum after this fantastic win. 17-9 was the final score. A little bit low scoring for a Chiefs game. But there was never really a point in this game in which I felt like they even had a shot at coming back. You know, we were really able to slow down that offense, you know, to the point where I just didn't feel threatened by Trevor Lawrence, by Travis Etienne, by anybody on that Jacksonville offense, because, you know, they just weren't getting in the end zone. You know, we had a couple of drives where, you know, we were allowing them to get down the field, but, you know, we just had that bend, don't break mentality that you always hear about. What a game it was for the Chiefs defense. And of course, having number 95 back in the lineup, Chris Jones, certainly helped a lot. Boy, did he make an impact. What a game for him, okay? And there was a lot of questions regarding whether or not he was going to be 100%. A lot of questions regarding whether or not he was actually doing the training that he said he was doing during the offseason. But, I mean, I think he put all those doubts to bed, okay? To bed. Because what a game. You know, he's just a great player. Always has been a great player. And we were able to get that one-year deal done on Chris Jones. There's going to be a lot of question marks heading into this offseason, but it's just nice that we were able to get him back on the field. We did not want to miss out on Chris Jones for another 7 weeks, you know, because he did state that he was willing to sit out for, you know, until week 8. So thank goodness we got that deal done. Having him back makes a big impact, and we saw it. You know, first game he's back, boom, you know, what a game. And our defense overall, man, just what a great, fantastic overall game against a Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, these guys, you know, they're a good team. You know, let's not forget they've got a lot of great pieces on that offense. And we really did slow them down. I mean, in my mind, we only really allowed 6 because 3 of those points came from that turnover, unfortunately, that gave them the ball, you know, very, very close to their own end zone. And you know, just honestly, our defense, the fact that we didn't allow them to score a touchdown after that, just great stuff. And there were a few turnovers on offense that, you know, unfortunately are you know, something to be a little bit concerned about. But offensively, I'm not too worried either. You know, we got the job done. That's all that really matters. You know, Patrick Mahomes went out and he did his thing. 300 yards, had a couple of touchdowns. Isaiah Pacheco had a pretty solid game. And having Travis Kelce back, we, you know, similar to Chris Jones, I mean, immediate impact, you know, and a solid player. You know, a solid guy who we were missing in week 1, who, you know, obviously makes a pretty big impact, and we saw it, you know, the second he stepped on the field here for the Chiefs. You know, a pretty good player here in this game against the Jaguars, even though the stats don't jump out at you. You know, 4 catches, 20 yards. He did get that key touchdown that, you know, I think we were missing in that game against the Lions, because there were just a lot of plays where, you know, we only needed like 3-4 yards to get the first down, and we were just looking for someone to get the ball to. And Travis Kelce, nobody has been targeted more in the red zone than Travis Kelce. I mean, we rely on this guy like crazy to get those short yardage situations and a lot of those goal line situations, and that showed in this game. You know, giving him that touchdown pass, boom, got it done. So Chris Jones and Travis Kelce came back, had big games, and that's what we're hoping we see moving forward from these two players who we desperately missed in week 1. And aside from that, man, just super happy overall about the way this team played. One thing that I would really like to note is that Kadarius Toney, you know, we had our little chat last time I made a Chiefs Chat video. Okay, we had a bit of a tough discussion, I'll tell you that right now. But one thing that I absolutely love about Andy Reid, you know, just the way that he leads his team. Kadarius Toney, I mean, let's not forget he had just one of the worst performances anyone's ever seen in week 1. But what does Andy Reid do to respond to that? You know, what does Andy Reid do that most NFL head coaches don't? Okay, he feeds Kadarius Toney. 5 receptions led the Chiefs in this game against the Jaguars, and he just kept giving him the ball, specifically in that first quarter, you know, trying to get him to where right off the bat, he's feeling better about himself. He's feeling confident, so that when we need him later in the game, you know, fortunately we didn't need him, but if we were to need him later in this game against the Jaguars, he would have been really, really confident. He would have been on a high after getting those good receptions. And I really like that about Andy Reid. that's something that you see from Andy Reid, but you don't see from a lot of other guys in the NFL. And we saw it last year with Sky Moore, where he was really struggling on those kickoff returns, on those punt returns, and Andy Reid just kept putting him in there and saying, you're going to make a big play, man. You're going to make a big play, and things are going to turn around for you, because I think he understands that players, they perform better when in their mind they know that they're good at what they're doing. When these players are confident in what they're doing, it makes them so much better. It really elevates their game. And so Andy Reid, that was his goal, I think, right off the bat of this game. Give Kadarius Toney the ball, get him back to where he needs to be. I love that, man. I just love that from Andy Reid. Just such a smart coach, and I think he just understands players. And Kadarius Toney, okay. I just want to put our dispute aside, because if you guys have been keeping up, I haven't been entirely fond of Kadarius Toney so far in his Chiefs career. I know he did make some big plays in the Super Bowl that helped us win that game, and I will forever be grateful for Kadarius Toney for that. But hopefully after a pretty solid game today, we can put aside some of the struggles that he's had, specifically in that Week 1 game against the Lions. Hopefully we can just kind of forget about that. It'll all be just a fun, laughing matter once we win the Super Bowl, So yeah, that's how I'm feeling about this game. Really, really good stuff. Jawan Taylor is a guy who I think we should talk about, because I'm not sure what to make of this situation. He was getting harped on all week in Week 1. Only one penalty flag was thrown. But a lot of people going on social media talking about how, man, he should have been flagged maybe 4 or 5 times. And here we are in this game against the Jaguars, and he got flagged 4 or 5 times. I believe it was 5 times that he got penalized for false start, illegal formation. And everybody has really been keeping an eye on what Jawan Taylor's been doing. And there's been a lot of arguments on both sides that are being made. A lot of people are saying that players like Lane Johnson has been doing this forever and nobody seems to really care, and just stuff like that. And people are arguing that now that after that first game that everybody's watching that game, it's the only game on, it's a primetime game, it's the first game of the season. Everybody's watching that game and they're looking at what Jawan Taylor was doing, and they were like, what's going on? And so I think coming into this game against the Jaguars, the referees on the field really were just locked in on what Jawan Taylor was doing, and it hurt us quite a few times. So I think, unfortunately, even though that's something that I think Jawan Taylor in the past has been able to get away with, as well as Lane Johnson, I think that's something that needs to be looked at, just because of the fact that people are going to be watching him. I think that's why we took him out of the game for a few plays. If you guys remember, I think it was late second quarter, we had to take him out of the game because he was causing too many penalties. I don't think it was because he wasn't performing well, but I think it's just we got to sit down and we got to be like, hey man, what you're used to doing, what you were doing with the Buccaneers, what you were doing with the Jaguars a year prior, it's just not going to fly here. It's not going to happen. I'm sure it was, I'm sure you didn't get penalized too much in Jacksonville. In fact, we know he's a solid player. That's why we gave him a 4-year, $80 million contract. So yeah, that's just something that we're going to have to sit down with him and be like, man, you got to start, playing a little bit more traditional, in the sense that you can't really be putting that leg too far back. You can't really be jumping too quick. I know that's the way he likes to play. It's clearly, something that has translated both Week 1 and Week 2, because, he was doing the same type of stuff. So, we're going to have to talk to him about that, unfortunately. But Jawan Taylor, we gave him that big contract for a reason. He's a good player, and so I'm not worried about him moving forward. I know he's going to, speak with the offensive line coach, the potentially Matt Nagy, a few guys on that coaching staff to try to get this worked out. This is something that he definitely needs to speak with his coaches about, because I think moving forward, he's really going to be looked at. And that was another thing in this game. Penalties really just crushed us. Really crushed us pretty bad. If you guys look at the penalty numbers, I think we had 12 penalties that for 84 yards, and they had 3 or something like that. So yeah. But I mean, still got it done pretty easily. Really happy with this win. Okay. And it's looking like another good year for the Chiefs, man. And we're taking a look around the league. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the other games, but the AFC, it's looking like it could be wide open this year, The only team that I think is undefeated right now that we maybe should be a little bit concerned about is the Dolphins. But, the Bills, took a loss in Week 1. The Bengals are 0-2. Who saw that coming? So, yeah, the Chiefs, I think we're looking good right now. Looking pretty good. We've got a few games up ahead that I think are pretty easy wins, manageable wins. So we should be in the driver's seat here in the AFC conference, heading to Super Bowl 58. That's what I think. So thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next Chiefs chat. Peace out.